Hello, Jim Taylor.
Hi there.
I'm Josh Rackless.
Hi, Josh.
They gave you a ticket to the movie? There we go. Nice
Yeah,
to.
I know. I'm not giving it to you.
Oh, okay. All right.
sure you-
Oh, your guy wants it. He wants the ticket.
I don't know. He's not going to give it back.
No, he looks sketchy. I would avoid that guy. I didn't know you were going to be walking the red carpet, so I didn't draw a cartoon of you. I'm sorry, but I'm sure you know what. It's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a good-looking guy. These are bad cartoons. But I drew one of Alexander and some of the actors and stuff. And kind of the theme here was I was asking people how they crammed in so much productivity in their life. Did they downsize anything in their own life to be more efficient?
Mm-hmm.
And you might understand that question better than the actors because you're the screenwriter. So you understand sort of, I guess the concept of downsizing is making things smaller to fit more in the world.
Yeah, well, in this particular case, at first it's for environmental reasons, and then it quickly becomes perverted into a way for people to maximize their own wealth by taking what they have already. And so if they have a little tiny apartment, then they can sell it and buy a huge house in the downsized world. And so that becomes a motivation rather than environmental.
Oh, so it's kind of the idea of like if you have a tiny apartment in the city, you sell that and you buy a huge mansion in the suburbs where there's more space?
Yeah, exactly, yes.
So that's the problem with humanity.
I live in Manhattan, so I can identify, yes, yeah.
How big is your apartment? Like I've seen it.
It's a two-bedroom apartment, and it's quite adequate, but it's not giant, no.
How do you come up with this? Like you wrote this yourself? Is this based on a story or something? Or
Initially, it was inspired by my brother, who was thinking about, as an environmental thing, he was just doing a little, mental game to think, what if people were X amount smaller, and he tried different sizes and things like that, and he talked to me about it. He kind of couldn't let go of the idea, and then I thought, that might make a interesting movie, and then I talked to Alexander, and
because I'm a big environmentalist myself. I took Al Gore's climate reality training. I used to come up to strangers in the street and hand them brochures I made saying, please stop idling your car, and then they would get out of their car and chase me and threaten to kill me and stuff. So I understand being a bit obsessed with that. Are you an environmentalist yourself, or is that more your brother's thing?
It's not. I wouldn't say. Well, hopefully everybody is. Yeah, at this point. I mean, that's the nice thing, is that it certainly is an issue that should unite everybody, considering. So, and I think it's important to remember that there's a spectrum, and that I think there's a radical version of it, and then there's a version that's just trying a little better, and really that we have to change the laws more than anything else, and so
it's all very tough. And I've sort of learned lately that the left and the right, they both have extremes that are irrational. So we need to sort of actually think, okay, what are the real problems? Don't get personalities involved. If you hate Al Gore as a person, that's not a reason to pollute, that kind of thing. So what do you think the eventual takeaway of this movie is? Is it sort of an environmental treatise, or is it more like, hey, don't be jerks and try to buy big houses, or?
Neither, really, because ultimately then we try to make it a human story about individuals, and just about there's all these political forces at work, and obviously the world's in a tough place, but we want it to be about Paul Safranek and Nyok Lan, who's
characters' names. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I was going to say Matt Damon and Hong Chow are the actors, but anyway, Anyway, they say, the political is personal, the personal is political.
Yeah, you can make it a personal story, then it's something, nobody wants to watch a documentary about the environment, but you want to watch a story.
And just as something that's entertaining and then leaves you with a little something to think about.
Like a dessert, but maybe it has some vitamins in it. I'm not the screen. Well, actually, I am a bit of a screenwriter, but obviously not as good.
Some fiber in it.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, a brownie with some fiber. Yeah. All right, great. Well, thank you so much. And what other movies have you written, just so I know?
Well, mostly with Alexander, Sideways, Election, Citizen Ruth was our first movie about Schmidt, and then some other things that have been more less auteur-driven.
Just some of the best movies ever made. Whatever. Just banging them out. and this is going to be one of the. This will be the pinnacle of your career. This interview. So I'm glad to have been here for this
I
moment.
hope so.
All right. Well,
you never know.
I wrote a little
If
screenplay once.
If I took my head off and held it out here and put it back on, it probably would help get.
Yeah, I would really appreciate it.
I'm
You're not going to do that?
I'm not able to do that.
All right. Well, screw you then, Jim. All right. Well, thank you so much. Nice to meet you.